So as you might suspect, focus strategies are focusing on the needs of a particular segment or a particular group of customers. You could focus based on being B2B, you could focus on being B2C, or you could use demographics to further segment your customers. For instance, targeting a particular age group or a particular demographic group or a particular race or ethnicity. You could um, talk about a different product line. One of my former students who works for Sherwin-Williams called me up this afternoon, and we talked for about an hour, and we talked about how his particular product line is so distinctive, it is so differentiated, and he told me that he had paid $90 for a gallon of house paint, basically. And that's definitely a focused line. It's actually focused differentiation. He's focusing specifically on professional painters and selling a really, really high quality product because, think about it, as a homeowner, you tend to equate the quality of the paint with the quality of the painter. And of course, when we pay thousands upon thousands of dollars to have our house painted, we want it to last more than 2 or 3 years. You could segment based on a geographic market. Now, I've mentioned to you that focus strategies really don't work in Globus, and there's a reason for that. You have a well-established product market for both of your product lines in all four of your geographic markets. And when we focus, we're actually paying attention to one particular market segment or one particular customer group at the exclusion of others. So because you're already selling products in North America, Latin America, Asia Pacific, and Europe, Africa, if you were to focus, that would mean that you concentrated exclusively on North America and Europe, Africa, which are your most well-established markets at this point, and you really just kind of ignored Asia Pacific and Latin America, which would be your emerging markets. But because you have already established distribution there in Europe, Africa, or excuse me, in Asia Pacific and Latin America, to exclude those markets would be a really costly decision. Usually about once or twice a year. Some students will not take me at my word on that, and they'll just stop selling products altogether in a geographic market, and that's fine if they want to do that, but it usually does come back to bite them. So focus doesn't work really, really well. Either focus cost leadership or focus differentiation. And the difference between a focus strategy and a broad strategy is simply, are we serving the needs of a particular segment of the market, or are we trying to appeal to the broader market as a whole? So there's some companies that have a good example of focus strategies, perhaps for not good reason. Goya is definitely in the headlines today. They've segmented the Hispanic market into unique groups. They are definitely focused differentiation, and they are targeting that Hispanic segment and doing a very good job with that. They're the largest Hispanic-owned business in the United States and have about 4,000 employees, but they're certainly getting some backlash because of some of the comments that their CEO said about President Trump in support of President Trump. So cancel culture is large and in charge with Goya. But these are some companies that have the example that I like to use as the example of having a focus strategy. Like Green Truck, that uses, this is obviously people who are socially conscious. Their mission is to heal the planet one meal at a time. That certainly is pretty high-minded, but you can see how that would appeal to certain market segments. IKEA is focused cost leadership. They have unique designs but very low cost. And how do they do that? That they forego the labor cost of assembly of the furniture. You put it together yourself. Okay, so that's focus strategy. That's all I'm going to talk about on them. The last strategy that I'm going to talk about is going to be the best value strategy, and there'll be two. It'll be integrated cost leadership and integrated differentiation.